At night on a peaceful alien world under twin moons. Princess Elira, ruler of a powerful alien empire, feels something is wrong. Her two young daughters are sleeping far from the palace, inside a simple tent. The girls insisted on camping with a human named Ethan, a guest from Earth. Ethan is not a soldier, not a hero, just a quiet human with a strange calm presence. Guards watch from far away, uneasy. Alien sensors suddenly go silent. The stars above flicker once, then stop responding. Elira wakes in fear, clutching her chest. She whispers her daughters' names. At sunrise, the guards rush to the campsite. The tent is torn open. No blood, no bodies. No signs of struggle. The daughters are gone. Ethan is also missing. Alien tracking tech fails. No heat marks, no energy trails. It is as if the three never existed. Alien generals blame the human. Humans are known to be weak, but unpredictable. Some believe Ethan betrayed them and ran away with the children. Princess Elira is torn. She remembers how gently Ethan treated her daughters. How they slept beside him, holding his arms, feeling safe. Welcome to my channel Sci-Fi Love Story. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. The night was calm. Too calm. On the world of Lunareth, the sky held two pale moons, glowing softly above endless silver grass. The wind moved slowly, brushing the ground like a quiet breath. Far from the royal city, near the edge of a glowing forest, a small tent stood alone. Inside that tent, two alien children were sleeping. They were daughters of Princess Elira, heir to one of the strongest empires in the galaxy. Their skin shimmered faintly blue in the moonlight. Their breathing was slow and peaceful. And between them slept a human. His name was Ethan. The girls were curled close to him, one holding his arm, the other resting her head on his chest. They felt safe that way. They always did. Ethan lay still, eyes closed, listening to the night. He was not a soldier, not a hero, just a human visitor from Earth invited as part of a cultural exchange. He wore simple clothes, no armor, no weapon. Yet somehow, the royal daughters trusted him more than anyone else. Outside the tent, far away among the trees, alien guards stood watch. They did not understand this bond. Humans were small, soft, fragile. Or so they believed. Back in the royal palace, Princess Elira woke suddenly. Her eyes snapped open. Her heart was racing. She sat up in her bed, long silver hair falling over her shoulders. The palace was silent, but her instincts screamed that something was wrong. She pressed a hand against her chest. A deep fear spread through her. "My daughters," she whispered. She reached for the control crystal beside her bed. It showed the life signs of her children, two bright signals, steady, calm. Still, the fear did not fade. Outside, the palace sensors flickered. For just a moment, the stars above Lunareth dimmed. No one noticed, except the princess. Near the forest campsite, the guards felt it too. A sudden cold. Their communication devices crackled, then went quiet. One guard tapped his wrist panel, no response. Another looked up at the sky. Did the moons just blink? Before anyone could answer, the forest went silent. No wind. No insects. No sound at all. Inside the tent, one of the daughters shifted in her sleep. Her eyes fluttered open. She sensed it. Something watching. Ethan felt it too. His eyes opened slowly. Years on Earth had taught him one thing very well. When everything goes quiet, danger is close. He did not move. He did not breathe deeper. He stayed still, letting the darkness reveal itself. Then the tent wall shimmered. Not torn, not cut. It simply faded. A shadow slipped inside. Then another. Tall. Thin. Their bodies looked like living smoke, wrapped in dark armor that swallowed light. Void hunters. Ancient beings whispered about only in royal warnings. One of them reached for the children. That was when Ethan moved. But no one saw what happened. Not the guards. Not the palace. Not even the stars. Morning came. The sun rose over Lunareth, painting the grass in gold. The guards rushed toward the campsite after losing contact during the night. They reached the clearing and froze. The tent was open, flattened, empty. No children, no human, no blood, no struggle, nothing. Just 3 deep marks burned into the ground. Princess Elira arrived moments later, surrounded by soldiers and advisors. She stepped out of her transport and walked slowly toward the tent. Her face was calm. Too calm. She knelt and touched the ground where her daughters had slept. Cold. Her hands trembled. They were here, she said softly. I feel it. An officer approached. Princess, the human is also gone. The room around her seemed to tilt. Some of the advisors whispered immediately. Humans cannot be trusted. This must be a betrayal. He took them. Elira stood. Her eyes burned with quiet fire. No, she said, that human would never harm them. But doubt crept into her heart. Back at the palace, emergency councils were called. Holograms filled the chamber. Generals spoke over one another. Our scanners found nothing. No ship signatures. No energy trails. It is impossible. An ancient archivist finally spoke. There is one possibility. The room fell silent. The void hunters. Fear spread instantly. They steal royal blood, the archivist continued, to control empires, to break worlds. Elira closed her eyes. If her daughters were taken by them. Time was running out. Far away. Deep in the dark between stars. Inside a ship made of shadow. 2 small figures huddled together. The daughters were awake now. Shaking. The air was cold. The walls seemed alive. One of them whispered, "Where are we?" Before fear could consume them, a familiar shape moved forward. Ethan stepped into the faint light. Blood ran from his forehead. But he was standing. He placed himself in front of the girls. "Stay behind me," he said calmly. A deep, distorted voice echoed through the chamber. "A human dare stand." Ethan clenched his fists. "You're not touching them," he said. The shadows moved closer. The ship hummed, and the stars outside vanished. The air inside the dark ship was cold and heavy. It pressed against the skin like a warning. Ethan stood still, his body tense, his feet planted firmly between the 2 alien girls and the shadows that surrounded them. The faint light inside the chamber showed deep marks along the walls, as if the ship itself had been clawed many times before. The daughters clutched the back of his shirt. They did not cry. They trusted him. The void hunters watched in silence. Their tall forms bent slightly, as if studying him. Their faces were hidden behind living armor that shifted slowly, like smoke trapped in metal. One of them spoke again, its voice low and empty. "You are weak, human. You cannot protect royal blood." Ethan swallowed. His heart was pounding, but his voice stayed calm. "Maybe," he said, "but you'll have to go through me first." The void hunters paused. They did not understand courage like this. Far away, on Lunareth, Princess Elira stood on the command deck of her flagship. The great window before her showed space filled with stars, but her eyes were unfocused. She felt the bond with her daughters stretching thin. Still alive, but afraid. She placed both hands on the command rail. "We do not wait," she said firmly. A general turned toward her. "Princess, tradition demands." "I am their mother," Elira said. "Prepare the fleet." No one argued again. Ships moved into formation. Engines hummed. Ancient weapons powered up. The hunt had begun. Back inside the shadow ship, the Void Hunters finally moved. Two of them stepped forward. Ethan raised his hand slowly. "I don't want to fight," he said. "Let the children go." The Void Hunters laughed. It sounded like metal breaking. One of them struck him across the chest with a long, dark limb. Ethan flew backward and slammed into the wall. Pain exploded through his body. The girls screamed. Before the hunters could move closer, Ethan pushed himself up again. Slowly, shaking, still standing. Humans had learned something long ago. Pain does not always mean defeat. The Void Hunters grew impatient. They bound Ethan's arms with dark energy and dragged him across the floor. The daughters were pulled away, crying out his name. "Ethan!" He twisted, struggling. "Don't touch them," he shouted. The ship's chamber doors closed, separating them. Darkness swallowed him. Time passed. Ethan did not know how long. When the light returned, he was alone in a small chamber. The walls pulsed faintly, as if breathing. He tested the bonds on his wrists. They burned, but they were not perfect. Void Hunters did not fear humans. That was their mistake. Ethan remembered something his grandfather once told him. "If you can breathe, you can fight." He slowed his breathing, studied the energy binding him, listened to the ship's low hum. Every machine had a rhythm, even this one. Meanwhile, the daughters were locked inside a crystal chamber. They held each other tightly. "Ethan will come," one whispered. They believed it. Back on Lunarith's fleet, alarms sounded. A scout ship detected strange distortions in space. The Void Hunters' trail, an officer reported. Princess Elira stepped forward. "Follow it." Her claws dug into her palm. Inside the shadow ship, Ethan twisted his wrists again. The energy flickered. He slammed the bindings against the wall. Once, twice. On the third strike, the energy shattered. He collapsed to the floor, gasping. Free. He stood slowly. His body ached, but his mind was sharp. He searched the chamber. A broken panel hung loosely from the wall. He pulled it open. Inside, glowing lines of energy flowed like veins. Ethan smiled faintly. "Let's see how you like human curiosity." He moved through the ship carefully, avoiding patrols, listening, learning. Humans survived not by strength alone, but by adaptation. He disabled lights, cut pressure in narrow corridors. The ship began to react. Alarms echoed softly. The Void Hunters grew uneasy. One hunter found Ethan near an energy core. It raised its weapon. Ethan threw a metal shard into the control vanes. The ship screamed. Gravity shifted violently. The hunter slammed into the ceiling. Ethan did not wait. He ran. He reached the crystal chamber. The daughters looked up, their faces lit with hope. "Ethan!" He shattered the control seal. The crystal dissolved. He knelt and pulled them close. "I've got you," he said softly. "Hold on to me." The ship shook harder. The Void Hunters howled in anger. Outside, the alien fleet arrived. Princess Elira watched as a black ship spun out of control. "That's them," she whispered. Weapons locked on target. But something stopped her. A life signal. Human. Still alive. "Hold fire," she ordered. Inside the ship, Fire spread through corridors. Systems failed. The Void Hunters surrounded Ethan one last time. "You will die here," one hissed. Ethan held the daughters behind him. "Maybe," he said, "but not today." He triggered the final release. The ship tore itself apart. Space exploded into light. Alien ships rushed forward. Sensors struggled. Then, a small emergency pod shot out. Princess Alira's breath caught. "Bring it aboard," she said. The pod opened inside the flagship. Smoke poured out. Ethan stepped forward. Burned. Bleeding. But alive. He carried the daughters in his arms. Both were smiling. Both were safe. The room fell silent. Princess Alira walked toward him slowly. Her legs shook. She touched her daughters' faces. Then she did something no ruler had done before. She knelt. Not to a human, but to the man who protected her children. "You saved them," she whispered. Ethan looked down, tired. "They were cold," he said. "I kept them warm." Across the galaxy, the story spread. Void Hunters defeated. Royal blood saved. By a human. From that day on, a new warning echoed among the stars. Do not touch what sleeps beside a human. And